ask for a motion to adopt this franchise communication cable franchise agreement. Cable franchise agreement. Okay, done a motion. Pardon?
I think that's what we should do. I think we should go back and try to do something.
Yes.
Didn't this franchise, didn't our new, or I should say our old franchise come to an end? Otherwise our agreement has ended?
No, this franchise agreement, if adopted, would replace the existing agreement.
When does the existing agreement end?
Whenever this is adopted.
So that'll be forever, that never ends?
No, it ends when this is adopted.
But I'm saying besides.
We don't do that.
No,
We don't do that.
That's not, if you don't adopt the new ordinance, the current resolution will still be in full force.
For how long?
Until you
Forever. Good. Okay, leave it be. Good, let it go. Leave it. Leave it.
Well, I've been working on this for over a year, Mr.
Who
Hudson.
cares? Move it up to 25.
25 times a year?
What I'm saying is in negotiating. I don't know, we have to start this when it's in the budget.
Why do you have to?
It doesn't need to be started tonight.
Well,
You have time to still do this.
not really.
If he's working on this,
Bob, what do you think about taking it back and negotiating again?
I don't think there's going to be any further negotiations with Blue Ridge.
So leave it be.
So let it be.
we don't want further discussion with Blue Ridge. We want you guys to further discuss it and get rid of the 5%.
Good for you.
There you
That's what we
go.
want. We know Blue Ridge. We don't want more discussions with Blue Ridge. We want you to redo this agreement with no percentage increase. That's what we want.
Why, my name's Rocco Stigliano, why hasn't one of our, and to beg Bob's pardon here, why hasn't one of our lawyers from the township that has a financial interest gone and tried to negotiate with Blue Ridge?
Because
Why haven't we retained a lawyer from our township?
If I may, first of all, for those who didn't hear, my name is Richard Manfredi. I'm the management consultant for the township. And just to give a little perspective and history on this, several years ago, the township was looking at various alternatives for balancing their budget. And a number of people, and I apologize, I didn't catch your last name, your first name was Judy.
Judy Cooper.
You and a lady sitting behind you were right on target. And everyone has made many clear, very clear points. The fact of the matter is, there is a present performance standard in terms of a resolution regulating cable TV's ability to do business in the rights of way of Pocono Township today. When the township looked at what their alternatives were in trying to balance budget and how they were going to take in different revenue streams and balance the budget, one of the alternatives was the cable TV franchise. We were asked to, given our experience, in particular Mr. Pellegrino's experience in negotiating these in other places, to make sure that those performance standards were at a level that were negotiated to the benefit of the township. This is clearly a policy decision, and this is what you're saying here this evening. This is clearly a policy decision for your elected officials to make a determination. What we've done is we've negotiated what we believe is the best agreement that Pocono Township can have, but it's clearly up to the Board of Supervisors to decide, number one, do they want this revenue stream as a result of a cable TV franchise, and do they want the realistic possibility that Mr. Bangle, I believe, said that this will be passed on to you. The question is, if you want to move the agreement or have another look at the agreement, or if you have more questions or concerns, the specific question for your supervisors is, would you give us more time to do that, or do you feel a need? And I believe I heard that asked. So the bottom line is, everything you said is accurate, in my opinion. I shouldn't say everything, but the majority of what you're principally asking is accurate. and it's really a decision for your elected officials. It's a public policy decision. It is really not the terms and conditions of the agreement, whether we go back and renegotiate it. Certainly, it's always something you can do. But it boils down to, do you or do you not, as Pocono Township, through your elected officials, want to enact this ordinance, which includes with it this agreement and the possibility of a pass-through fee? And that's really...
No. Go by a roll of hands.
Well, it's really...
No.
Yes, Jane, I'm wondering why we're not discussing the Pocono Township manager.
We will, Philip.
Yes, we will, but we should have been discussing that first, before we got into the Blue Ridge cable thing. Because we want to see where we can save money. And this would be one of the prime targets for saving money. So, the new manager of the
We will
town.
talk about that.
Okay, Jane, it should have been first. You put the cart
No,
before the
not
horse.
really. We want to get the money before.
No, because you
need the money to fix the bridge.
It's already in the budget. It's already budgeted.
never budgeted it until you got it. That's like putting it on a credit card.
Well, the budget is. Had the budget, we can't do it. Okay, I think we talked about.
One quick question.
Go ahead, one more.
Well,
One more.
I believe that you may have misjudged what has happened here. First of all, you had a meeting where more than half the people have to stand outside the hall.
All right, well,
That's not, well, number one, it's not acceptable for the people outside there, because they can't hear. You've made no effort to make any way for those people up there to hear what you're saying here. So part of what I am
you're
saying is,
welcome to come in.
you've missed, well, wait, where would you like them to do? Where would you like them to go?
Well.
There's no place for them to come and see.
Tables down.
Nobody even bothered to move these tables. I'm saying you've misjudged what has happened here this evening. I believe you've also misjudged the fact that there are people here that have disagreed with what you wanted to do. Now, hopefully what you have heard, what you have heard is a small portion of the many people that maybe were not here. There may be 10 people for each one of these people that were here that agree with that person that are out there. I just think we need to take this into consideration for what you're talking about, because you are elected officials and you want to represent us. The idea this evening is we do not want to be taxed again for something else that you want. It is not acceptable from what we have said tonight. If there's something has to happen here, like within our homes, if the income doesn't match the expenditures, then you need to lower the expenditures.
There you go.
He's a manager. It's a business decision. I'm a business person. I got to make decisions all day. You have to do the same thing. Don't be politicians. Be business people, and handle it the way you expect us to handle our money. You will send us to the township police next door when we don't pay our bills, and you're going to give us more taxes to put us in that situation. You've got to be the same thing. You have to think the way you want us to think.
Well, you have to understand too, we have 2 contracts this year that we are working on. We have ratified one tonight, okay? We have another contract coming up, the police contract coming up.
You're telling me that contract, that's
We
great, you
can
had bills,
only cut
I understand
so
that,
much,
but
is
you
what I'm
you
saying.
have to be able, you can't tell us to cut and you not cut, it doesn't
We
work.
have a bare bones,
Doesn't work.
and we don't want to have to lay anybody off, we don't have to.
Why not?
This is the first year in all the years that I've had House of Candles, which has probably been 30, 40 years, first year I'd lay somebody off. So don't tell me, okay, that you can't lay off,
That's right.
okay? I had to, okay? I had to, I had no choice. It's the way it is, and you have to make the same decisions. Don't keep coming back to us and asking for us more money.
Well,
That's
we
not
have
the
a very-
solution.
Let me explain to you, we have 18-member police force, okay? We have a 35 square mile township for these guys. We have, believe me, we could use more police. We have 8 members on our road crew. People wonder how we do it. We have one part-time person here. We have 2 full-time in the office. We have a zoning officer. We have a sewage officer. We have myself. Mr. Hess is a full-time person. We have over 11,000 people in this township. People wonder how I work. Believe me, I work probably 60, 70 hours a week for nothing, except for my pay. I don't get any overtime, okay? I don't know who we could lay off. I really don't know how.
You said you were retiring at the end of the year, and the gentleman, your township manager, was gonna take your place.
It's not gonna take my place, we're gonna have a township
Do
meeting.
the job for that. Okay, who's gonna take the job, your job was a new supervisor, and who's paying that? If his money, your money is gonna go to him, basically. For the job you're doing, you're increasing money out of our pockets again by, when you do that.
No, if they hire a township manager, the supervisor will be part-time.
Supervisor's gonna be part-time.
Well, the public works gentleman will be full-time. He will be full-time, and I don't know, I won't be here, so I don't know what they'll do next year, to be honest with you. But the new, I've heard from each of the supervisors that are coming in that they do not want to have a full-time job. And you don't become a supervisor just to get a full-time job. Yes.
Jane, since you're not running, and obviously there's some concern about hiring a township manager, why not wait until after the November election and have the supervisor that's seated in that position, along with the other two supervisors, make that decision, and we can save that revenue in order to fix roadways that
There you
need
go.
repair.
Well, if we wait till November to hire a township manager, I won't be here to train anybody. I won't be
I'm more than willing to step up to the plate.
And you don't have to train them.
Since I'm
If the search is gonna take 2 to 3 months to do that, why would we rush the procedure?
Because we have to get this person now, I shouldn't say train, because that person will know it, but he has to be shown what goes on here. Every place is different.
Yes,
So
right.
we have to, it's gonna take, I mean, you have no idea.
Why can't Frank do it?
what goes on. You don't really.
We want
I'm
Frank doing
not
it.
saying
And
you
you
don't
as
have,
Mr. Yes, I'm sorry.
I'm not
Mr.
saying
Yes.
that you don't have a great burden. I believe that to be the truth. But what I'm saying is, there's proper timing for these things, and I don't believe that you leaving and somebody else coming in to work with 3 township supervisors is the appropriate timing for this thing. Let the other township supervisor get in and hire the person that they, along with the other 2 supervisors.
Well, we have 3 supervisors now, so, you know.
Yes, but once again, like you said, you're leaving.
You're leaving.
Well, yes, but I want this person now so that he can be.
Good job I got, no one has that.
Hey, I'll leave tomorrow.
Just as a matter of procedure, you still have, clearly there's a lot of questions about the manager.
Yeah, we still have.
Clearly the public believes the 2 are tied together. There's a number of things you can do, but you haven't either tabled or taken any action
On the other one.
on your other. Perhaps you want to, delay that for manager, for this discussion before you enact it. That might be something you might consider.
Yes.
Just hold on until after the manager discussion. Consider those matters.
Okay, quiet please.
Just set it aside.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I was doing.
May I ask something?
Okay, just a minute, John. We're going to set aside the cable franchise fee because you seem to want to get on to the township manager. So we'll get on to that and then we'll make a decision if we make a decision.
Will that be voted on a Monday evening meeting that everybody
It
will
won't be
be
done
at?
tomorrow,
Well, it might be done tonight.
but it will not be done tomorrow.
It won't be done tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
No.
What I've just suggested to Mrs. Sorso is to just stay decision and call for a motion on the cable TV franchise ordinance for a later time this evening or at a later date, until such time as the public has had an opportunity to blend their concerns about the manager and costs together. In other words, don't act on it before you have the discussion on the manager.
And
Have
another
the discussion
open
on the
meeting.
manager. Pardon me?
And another open meeting where the public can be involved.
That's right.
Either another meeting or later this evening or whatever. Just don't act on it right now, because there's a lot of questions that have been raised relative to the costs of a manager being paid for by the cable TV franchise. So because of the dovetailing of the issue, I just recommend that she not take any action on the cable TV franchise. So we further vetted the issue of the manager. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so we will now open the issue of the township manager. And
Okay.
Rich Van
Hey,
President-
before we do, can I just, one, as a point of order, and I understand Robert's Rules of Order, if you're making a motion, and you need to make that motion, I ask that the motion to table state that when it is voted on, it's voted on at an open meeting, not later on tonight. And that's the purpose of tabling the motion,
We
is so it
didn't
is
table
brought.
it,
Good.
We're just
Sir,
setting
you
it
would be
aside,
100% correct if there was a motion to table.
but there's no motion.
But what all they're doing is they're setting this
So
aside.
you set it aside and vote on it after the meeting is done. How do the
To move to the
residents,
next item on the agenda.
Please, listen to you.
To move to the next item on the agenda.